Are you on the quest to getting a purple rarity weapon at the start of every single game of Cold War Zombies? If so, then today's video is for you. Hello there, my name is Justin from Day 9, and today we're going to be walking you through the Outbreak 1 Easter egg. This egg is actually quite complicated, so I'm going to be breaking it down with as little cuts as possible, and mostly just full-length gameplay and talking over it as much as humanly possible. But if you're looking for a good loadout, the loadout that I'm using in this video is the AMP-63 with Ether Shroud. I'm actually going to put that loadout on screen right now. The Agency Suppressor for the muzzle, the Task Force barrel, the 5 milliwatt laser body, we have the fast mags, and then the dual wields to get as much damage output as possible. But the actual first step of the Easter egg is just doing every side Easter egg, all the looting, everything you can possibly do to get as prepped for this Easter egg and the boss fight as humanly possible, getting your way to round 3. And I mean every side Easter egg. For the boss fight, I actually recommend getting full orange rarity weapons, triple pack-a-punch, self-revives, equipment, kill streaks, the whole works. It's pretty tough. But yeah, you're just going to be going all the way through the rounds, doing every single side Easter egg possible, getting all the way to round 3. There will not be a single step of the Easter egg until round 3. On round 3, we are going to be looking for a signal and a signal booster. Essentially, you're going to find the signal, it's going to call in a bunch of zombies, you're going to see what frequency is at, and then you're going to find 3 signal boosters, changing them to that same frequency and killing zombies if need be. I'm actually going to put all the locations for all the maps on screen for you right now. The signals indicated in red and the amplifiers are signaled in the green dots, so you can see them all across the maps in Outbreak, updated as of 2022. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to listen to the signals, see which frequency it says it's going to be at. Usually it's going to give you a bunch of zombies spawning in right off the gate, so anytime you see feedback, it's going to be spawning in a bunch of zombies. And after you kill the zombies, the feedback section will end, and then you're going to be able to see which frequency you need to set the other receivers at. So I'll see you here in a moment. So there you can see after we killed the rest of the zombies, we are now at active static 4, so we need to set the 3 receivers to active static 4. Anytime you see the feedback thing, it's going to spawn in a bunch of zombies, but sometimes you'll get it so it doesn't. But you're just going to keep interacting with it until it gets to the static noise that you require it to be. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, so that one is done. That one was actually pretty nice to us. Usually you'll get them at least doing feedback once, but yeah, you just go around those areas, those dots that I showed you guys earlier, setting it, there's feedback again, setting it to the same static as the first receiver, and then you'll go back to the first receiver to get a part for later on. Once you return to the first receiver, you're just going to interact with it. It's going to spawn you in a bunch of free points and then a part. Then you're just going to run through the rest of this world tier and then go back and interact with the beacon. Now you're going to have a brand new option at the beacon. It's that phone option there. After a little bit of dialogue with Maxis, you'll teleport to World Tier 4 for the next steps of the Easter egg. Now at World Tier 4, you're going to be looking for monkeys. I'm actually going to put all the monkey spawns for all the maps on screen. There are 4 monkey spawns per map, and you're going to be looking for a silver monkey. I'm actually going to show it on screen here after I'm done showing you guys the map layouts. All the monkeys are going to be silver, and they're going to be propped up in different locations. They're little statues. And once you shoot them, it's going to drop an item. However, if the monkey has an M next to the name, that is the monkey you actually are going to want to shoot. So I'm going to show you one monkey, no M. If I shoot it, just drop some ammo. This next monkey is going to have an M, as you can see on screen. If I shoot it, it's going to drop a part for later on. Now, once you grab the part, or the little film, you're going to find a little teleprompter room to display that part onto. I'm actually going to show all the projectors, sorry. I'm going to show the projectors locations on all the maps on screen right now. You're just going to go to that location, put it on the projector, go through the dialogue as earlier with the Maxis telephone option, and then once that's completed, you can go to World Tier 5. I'll see you guys here in a minute. Now in the teleprompter room for this map, once we interact with the slides, it's going to put up on screen right there. And then, like I mentioned earlier, just going to have a little bit of dialogue to cut through. I'm actually going to speed it up, and then you can jump to World Tier 5. Spawning in World Tier 5, this is your last chance to get boss fight ready as the objective switches to the actual objectives. You want to make sure you're perked up, make sure you got an orange rarity gun, triple pack-a-punch, death machine, ether shroud, the armor, the works. You want to be prepared. Because once you enter this elevator right here with the diamond with your full team and you acknowledge with it, it's sending you down into the bunker and into the boss fight. The bunker section, the whole point of it is going to get 3 keys to interact with the launch sequence and send you up to the surface for the boss fight. You're actually going to follow my pathing. I'm not going to trim it up much. It's not a perfect bunker section as I do take a lot of wrong turns, but I'm going to leave most of it in here just so you can see my decision-making process and to see the order in which I go about doing things or how I can shortcut certain aspects of the bunker section. Again, not perfect by any means, but I'm going to leave it all in here in its entirety. Same with the boss fight too, just so you can see, again, my decision-making and how I play things out. But with the bunker here, we're actually going to cut across. I actually make a wrong turn because I second-guess myself. That is the correct room right here, but I second-guess myself, and I go back to the main room. But you're actually going to go down through that purple section there. You can see me running around the zombies here. Jumping down here, and then you're going to lift the lockdown. You're going to go to this diamond area here. Lifting the lockdown, and once that's completed, you're going to have a cutscene. But if you're quick enough, you can actually zip over here and grab the Pokeball from the Firebase Z Easter egg. Then after the cutscene, it's going to spawn you back in the same place every single time. I'm going to go down here and interact with the canister. I have stamina up, so I didn't take fall damage. But I'm going to interact with this canister over here. Next, you're going to want to collect crystals to fuel the canister. It's similar to how the canister works in Outbreak. Well, obviously, we're on Outbreak, but Outbreak or the Malware Token Easter egg. Essentially, you're just going to fuel it, and then you're going to strap it to your back, and you're going to be able to take it with you. You need at least one of the charges for a jellyfish later on, but we're actually going to use one of the charges to kill a bunch of mimics in the middle section here. You'll see me running around shooting crystals as much as I humanly can to fuel the canister. You need 20 to fuel the canister, and they do stack up through your whole team. So once I grab a couple crystals, I'll go over and start refilling it. Holding down square will cause a couple of shocky boys to come on in here. Killing them and just holding down square is going to start loading the crystals in here. But you're going to keep doing this until it's fully completed, and I'll come back in just a second once it's fully completed. Once you have it fully completed and it's recharged enough to be able to grab it, you're going to grab it and then just zip up to the top. You're actually going to cut through the middle section because the middle section is going to have a bunch of mimics. Don't run into the middle section until this section. Knock this out first. Because once you run in here, there's a bunch of items that were not here previously. That's because they're all mimics. Running past them will spawn in all the mimics, and then you can use one of your charges from the canister to actually damage all of them. I actually forgot that there are 3 charges on this canister instead of 2, so instead of using my second charge like I should have, I just decided to shoot all of them. But even if you're like me and you forget to look at the number in your lower right hand corner, it'll still do a bunch of damage for free to these mimics. Realistically, I could have done 1 charge, shoot a bunch of them, re-lap them around, and then use a second charge and still have a free 3rd charge for the jellyfish later on. But I was a bit silly here. I was a bit silly. But yeah, you're just going to shoot all these mimics here, and then a boss mimic is actually going to be at the end of the hallway. Once you interact with the a dead body right at the end of the hallway over here. Nope, over here. There it is. Once you interact with that, a boss mimic will spawn in. Killing the mimic will actually allow you to get your first key. We are back, the Mimic is dead, and we're going to pick up our first key. Next, we're going to cut across here, back to where we start. I think I got a little twisted up, but the next one that we're going to knock out is going to be the monkey. We got a Pokeball from earlier. You'll notice if you look up on some of the walls in this section here that some of the vents are going to glow blue. That means the monkey is in the vents. He took the key, supposedly. That right there. If you get too close to the wall, the monkey will scare off and run away. So if you throw it from about that range, and then you just wait until the dialogue options on your screen will tell you that he's in range. You'll just double tap square to catch a nip trap target in range. Double tap square to catch the monkey, and then if you interact with the trap, you'll be able to get the key from it. And that is your second key down. Third and final key is going to be the first thing that you started once you spawned in from the cutscene. It's going to be the jellyfish that we spoke of earlier. Taking the canister that you still have on your back next to the jellyfish on this staircase right here, using the charge on this little blue moss, then the jellyfish will start to pick you up. If you start to look down at your feet and keep interacting with it by, holding down square, letting go square, holding down square, etc., just make sure you don't miss it. Eventually, you'll be able to interact with a canister floating within the jellyfish, and you'll be able to get the key from the jellyfish. After that, he's going to put you back on the ground, and you're going to be able to start the launch sequence. Using your 3 keys, you're going to interact with a little computer section in each of the 3 segments of the map, A, B, and D. This section is random every single game that you go into, so it's trial and error. If you interact with A and it doesn't work, then you know A is not the starting sequence, or if you interact with A and then you go to B and it's not that, then you know it's A, D, B, etc. It's trial and error. But you have a very limited window to do that, so once you interact with one, if you have a partner, you can have your partner interact with the second one, and then you interact with the third one. Once it gives you the acknowledgement that you did it correctly, then it is time to go up the stairs and get ready for the boss fight. So I'll see you here in a moment. There's the acknowledgement I was speaking about earlier. That is your A-OK to get ready for the boss fight. Going back into the middle section and up the stairs. Eventually, it'll give you an acknowledgement that you can open the door on the top and head out into the boss fight. The boss fight is actually pretty tricky, and it gives you a limited window to do it in. I think it's about 8 minutes, and that, I think, is the trickiest part. Essentially, you're going to go up into the boss fight, and every time you break the armor of the Legion boss, then it's going to give you a small window of opportunity to shoot orbs around him. Make sure you're only shooting them one at a time, and I mean focus fire on the one orb at a time. So you'll see me break him, I'll find one orb, usually the one on the left, I'll go right underneath it with your Ether Shroud, and then just let loose on that poor orb. You need every bullet you can get to pop these orbs. They have tons of health. So once you do the first orb, he'll come back in, you break him, do the second orb, he'll come back in, break him. The third orb will usually take you 2 tries. I've hardly ever gotten the third orb on the first try. Once you break him, third orb, he'll come back, break him, finish the third orb, and then you have finished the boss fight. I'm actually going to leave this entire boss fight unsped up in its entirety for you guys to watch my trials, tribulations, my decision making, and everything. I'm not going to be talking anymore throughout this Easter egg until the very end of the boss fight. Again, this is by no means a perfect boss fight, but I'd like you guys to see my decision making and to see what things I do where. I do highly recommend using either the AMP63 or the M16 for this boss fight. The Howler is good if you're good at getting really up close, but either way, maximizing your Ether Shrouds is great. Entirely my strategy is just shooting the boss, and if I don't have an Ether Shroud charge, shooting zombies until I get it back. But I'll see you guys after the boss fight is over. And as the final orb pops, you have beaten the Outbreak 1 Easter egg. If you like what you see and you're new around here, please consider hitting the subscribe button with the Omega Fist Firethorn Punch, as it's free. It really helps us out. And comment down below any content recommendations you have for the future. I would like to say a big thank you to everyone that has been new to our community, as we recently broke 500 subscribers, and pretty soon I'll be posting a community poll once we have the function for it to see when you guys subscribed, as in like what game you subscribed to, and if you have any recommendations or things you would like to see on the channel. So please, if you'd like to do so, interact with that comment post whenever it goes live. But with that out of the way, thank you so much for coming out today, and we will see you guys on the next guide. Fair hunting, my friends.